Hi everyone, Dr. Paul Brumett with Medivet Products. Today we're going to talk about how to apply thermoplastic to one of our soft neoprene tarsal splints. Some of the things that you'll need to have on hand, we have here on the table. A grease pencil, a Sharpie, some form of scissors. I like to have a pair of bandage scissors, either in this variety or that variety. And then we have a pair of nice shears that you can buy. You can get these online, or you can buy these at the hardware store as well. A heat gun is not absolutely necessary, but if you have one, that's great. A 12 by 12 electric skillet with about 2 inches of water in it. This one happens to have a Teflon coating. Some elastic wrap, or some Coban vet wrap type of product. A spatula is nice. Tongs are nice, and we'll show you how to use those. In this case, we're going to need some 3-inch stockinette. Goniometer is nice to have in case you need it. And those are the big things. Of course, we'll also have a kit. Your kit's going to come with a pre-cut piece of thermoplastic already. Here's the carpal kit, and you can see that it's got a piece of thermoplastic in it, straps, Velcro, some instructions. The kit that comes for the tarsal brace will look very similar. It'll just have a pre-cut piece of thermoplastic in it for you to work with. Today we're going to use this leg stand-in instead of a dog. So this model has been made into proportion of a large breed dog. Here you can see we already have the neoprene tarsal brace based on the measurements that you send to us. We've already applied that to the leg, and so in practice I will have these dogs in lateral recumbency, laying on the table, a couple of technicians helping me to hold. The electric skillet is off to the side so that people won't bump into it and it's safe, but for demonstration purposes I'm going to have it on the table today. Then we have our piece of pre-cut thermoplastic, and thermoplastic is made from a combination of rubber, polymers, and other plastics, and depending on what you have, they have different properties. What we're using today is Mark-Easy plastic. It becomes soft or malleable right around 200 degrees, so that's why I've got my skillet set at that. And it has a little bit of stretch so that it'll help go around curves, as well as it's not very sticky. So if it were to fold on its over on itself, you can generally get that apart. So this is, like I said, depending on what you have, you might have something that's a little bit different. Instructions will come with that, so don't worry about that. We have our patient in lateral recumbency. I'm going to take my 3-inch stockinette, run it up my arm. We'll take the dog's leg and hold it by the foot, and then move the stockinette all the way up the leg. So we want to go above the soft brace and below the soft brace. And what that does is it helps protect the brace itself. It also gives the thermoplastic something to stick to so it doesn't stick to your brace, makes it easier to get off. And then we'll take our thermoplastic and we'll slide it into our hot water. Remember just to be careful with this. This water is hot, and so we don't want to get burned. If you have a piece of thermoplastic that's larger than your skillet, you can drop most of it in and then kind of work it through, and it softens up pretty quickly, usually just within a couple of minutes. All right, so let's take our plastic out of the hot water. Drain just for a second. Now, if you do mess up with your first piece of plastic and you start to say, boy, this is getting out of whack, you can throw it back in the water. It'll have a bit of a wrinkle in it, but you can pat and roll that back out so that you've got a piece of thermoplastic that you can use again. And that's what we've done with this particular piece. So we started to use it, changed our minds, put it back in the water, and heated it up, and then laid it back flat. Now I'm just waiting for it to cool down enough where I feel comfortable putting it on the patient. Not quite there yet. Okay, there we go. So I'm going to come in from the underside of the leg, line it up on that side of the leg where I want it. And then we're going to stretch it around. And actually I need to, so remember we've got our 50% overlap. So that's what we're going to start here. We're going to be about 1/4 of an inch above the edge of the neoprene. Start along the back. And then I'm going to come up underneath and push. And will lock our back into place. So I'm going to flip this over so you can see what I'm doing. So I've already pushed it into place. And then this side we'll have to work with a little bit, but it will stretch. And we can lay that up into its place. So the first thing I'm going to do is just those basic components. We'll take a elastic wrap, go around the limb. That'll help hold it in place. While it starts to get its basic shape. All right, so we're going to hold it right there. So let me show you. And in the real world, of course, our patient would be laying on the table. We'd just be making sure that they're comfortable, and we'd be waiting for this to set up. Let me show you what I've got on the inside. So on the inside, I've already got the coverage that I want. It's already forming to the back of the leg. So this is the hard side. This is the easy side, because we can see what's happening here. So we're going to reheat this, and we're going to stretch this a little bit and push it into that direction, and it'll shape to the leg, and then we can come back and create all of our trim lines. Okay, so that should have been on long enough. So we'll take that off. Good to have a couple of towels on your table that you're working with your patient so that you can absorb any water. I'm going to leave that on for a second and just roll this back up so it's ready. Okay, so we're going to show you both sides again. So we've got a good start to our wrap on the inside. We're going to have to make some trim lines here, but it's already forming to the leg. And then when we roll it over, we just need to bring this forward. So we'll take it off of the limb, and we're just going to heat this section. Doesn't take very long to get that going. Now I need to allow it to cool just a little bit. There we go. We're going to apply it back to the leg right where it was before. And now I'm going to start to push it forward. So I'm holding it in place. Notice we got just a tiny little wrinkle there. That's okay, because that will flatten out. And we're going to have a little wrinkle here too. Don't sweat that. The whole idea is to get this to slowly stretch up into place. I'll take it back off. I'm going to heat it a little more. So this plastic has some stretch to it as well. And we're going to use that to our advantage. It's a little hot. You can see how soft it got. It's a little hot yet.